If ever you've an evening to spare upriver, take my advice. Drop into a village inn parlor, tap room warm and nice. You'll meet one or two old rod men sipping toddy without hurry, and they'll tell you fishy stories enough to leave your stomach in a worry. George and Harris disappeared, gone to shave, then pipe clay shoes. So George and the dog went walking off the river blues. We came back and called it a little riverside inn for a rest, and found an old fellow smoking, looking comfortably blessed. We all agreed the day was fine today, yesterday, tomorrow too. George said the crops were coming up, as George will always do. Then talk ran out and our eyes went wandering round the room, till they rested on a dusty glass case perched above the chimney's gloom. And in that case, high up a trout enormous wide, so monstrous that at first glance I thought it was a caught inside. Oh, fine fellow, ain't he? Quite uncommon, yes indeed, and every man who ever lived seems sure he did that deed. One trout, a dozen owners, each with proof and weight and tone, and the fish just sits there smiling like it knows what's coming stone. Ah, says the old gent, following my gaze, fine fellow that ain't he? Quite uncommon, I murmured. George asked the weight politely. 18 pounds 6 ounces, he says, rising, reaching for his coat. 16 years ago, come the 3rd of next month, minnow below the bridge afloat. They told me word in the river, I said I'd have him, and so I did. Good night, gentlemen, out he went and left us with the squid. We couldn't take our eyes off it, then a carrier came with beer, looked up and said, maybe you wasn't here when that fish was caught, my dear. No, he said, strangers in the neighborhood. Ah, says he, nearly 5 years ago I caught that trout just below, what was the lock? Caught him with a fly, weighed 26 pounds, blessed if it didn't shock. Good night, gentlemen. And off he went like truth itself can stroll. Then another man came in, told how he caught it bright and early gone. Then a stole it, saw a middle-aged individual sat down by the window stone. At length George turns and says, with his most polite request, perfect strangers as we are, would you tell us how you caught that trout up there pressed? Who told you I caught that trout? He asks, amazed and pleased. We said nobody told us, somehow we knew. He laughed, most remarkable, teased. And then he tells it half an hour, broke his rod in two, weighed it carefully at home, 34 pounds true blue. Oh, fine fellow, ain't he? Quite uncommon, yes indeed, and every man who ever lived seems sure he did that deed. One trout, a dozen owners, each with proof and weight and tone, and the fish just sits there smiling like it knows what's coming stone. When he was gone, the landlord came, and we told him what we'd heard. He laughed until the rafters shook at every earnest word. Fancy Jim Bates and Joe Muggles and Mr. Jones and old Billy Maunders too, telling you they caught it. Ha 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 ha! They're not the sort to do, to give it me to put in my parlor if they had caught it, no. Ha 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 ha! Then he told the real tale, soft and low. Caught it years ago when he was just a lad. Not art, not skill, just luck that waits on boys playing truant and bad. A bit of string tied to a tree, sunny afternoon, no fear. Brought home that trout, saved him from a whacking. Even the schoolmaster called it worth rule of 3, my dear. He's called out, George, and I stare up again, still marveling, still impressed. The more we look, the more the fish looks like a miracle dress. George gets excited, climbs up on the back of a chair to see it better. The chair slips, he clutches at the case, down it comes like a furious letter. You haven't injured the fish, I cry, alarm brushing near. I hope not, says George, rising cautious. Then we both freeze here. That trout lay shattered into 1,000 fragments. I say 1,900 perhaps, I did not count them. I'm not extravagant. Oh, fine fellow, ain't he? Quite uncommon, yes indeed, but it's strange a stuffed trout should break like that. Strange as strange can be, and it would have been strange and unaccountable if it had been a stuffed trout. But it was not. That trout was Plaster-of-Paris. So here's the moral. grow heavier. And sometimes fish go crack.